Hello everyone, welcome back to a slightly delayed episode 14 of TamsCraftyKnits. You can find me under that username on Instagram, Ravelry. We also have the Ravelry group, which I will talk about a little bit later. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page that you can like if you so choose. I have kind of been posting bits and pieces of what I've been working on. I have some of my items for sale on there. It's, you know, that kind of Facebook page. I do have an Etsy store. There's a few things in there, not too much. And I'm also on Snapchat as well. You do have to obviously request to, you know, add me as a friend on Snapchat. But if I can see that you're a knitter and I know who you are, then it's totally fine. That is just for my knitting stuff. So, I feel like I have a lot of stuff sitting over here. You can kind of see my stash in the background there, that's not even all of it. I have a few things on the go actually at the moment. I do sadly have one item that I have frogged. And I do have a little bit of a giveaway, which I will get to towards the end of the podcast. So first up, I am going to talk about some podcasts that I have been enjoying. And I don't think I've finished watching all of the latest episode, but if you have not checked out the Grocery Girls, they are from Canada. They are two sisters, Tracy and Jodie. Love them, they're awesome. If you're not subscribed to them, you really need to be. I will say I love their podcast, but if you're one of those people that really does not like long podcasts, then you may have to watch it in sections. I know the past couple of their episodes have been almost 2 hours long, so they are kind of on the longish end of the podcast spectrum, shall we say, but yeah, so if you don't like long podcasts, they may not be for you, but they are fantastic, so just keep in mind they're on the longer podcasts area. Someone else who I always watch her podcast as soon as they come up in my subscription box, and that is Hannah from Knits. I love her podcasts. I'm always inspired by what other people are making, and hopefully I can get to making some socks and maybe some, you know, cardigan, sweater eventually, maybe when my skills get up to that level. But definitely check out Hannah if you haven't. She lives down in Tasmania, so hello Hannah if you're watching. I know the Grocery Girls are not going to watch, but hello ladies if you ever stumble upon my little podcast. I've got two new podcasts. I have heard of one of these ladies before, and for whatever reason I didn't get around to checking out a podcast. I don't know why. I should have. The first new person that I'm going to talk about is Betsy, who is from the Quill Pins and Quips podcast. I will link all these people in the show notes. The show notes can be found on the Ravelry group. If you search TamsCraftyKnits in the groups, you can find it there. I am up to the third or fourth episode. She's a fairly newish podcaster in the fact that she has, I think, if I'm wrong I will put it down here, maybe like 4 or 5 episodes out, but I've really been enjoying watching her, so definitely go on over and check her out. She is based in the States. I can't exactly remember where. I'll put an annotation down here, but definitely go and check her out as well. Another one, and I've heard of this lady before. I've heard quite a few people mention her. Hannah mentioned her. I think Melinda, who's Yarnder Woman, mentioned her as well. And for whatever reason, I'd always meant to go over and check her out, but I don't know, I just never did. And that is Shara. Shara lives kind of down Melbourne way, which is a couple hours from me. Down that way, so not too far. And her podcast is the What Shara Made podcast. So another Australian podcast to check out. I've really been enjoying her podcasts. I'm only a few episodes in. I think I'm up to maybe episode 4. I did watch her most recent episode, and then I like to go back, as long as, you know, they don't have 100 episodes out. I like to go back and kind of catch up on their older podcasts. So definitely go and check out all of these ladies that I've mentioned. Hi Shara, if you're watching. So yes, go and check out those ladies, and let me know what you think. And if you subscribe to them, tell them I sent you. Don't worry about the grocery girls, because they won't know who on earth I am. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? Let's get into works in progress / frogged projects. As many of you know, I made my beautiful Anissa wrap by Amber O'Brien. Loved it. And when she brought out the Kalara, I knew I had to purchase it. As you guys may remember, it was living in my Mrs. Brown's bags, project bag. Well, it's been frogged. So there is maybe a metre or 2 missing off each of these yarns. This blue one is Moody Blues by Dyed by Hand. Beautiful colour. I picked this up at the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, for those of you who are new to my podcast. The other one is this one. It has Stellina in it, and it's by Ixchel Bunny. I love the colour of this. I love the sparkle. I love the look of it. But I just don't think knitting with Stellina is my thing right now. And this is just a beautiful, gorgeous yarn. It is 75% merino, 15% nylon, 5% cashmere, and 5% silver stellina. Again, I picked this up at the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. I don't think sparkle is my thing. So what I was thinking, again, there's maybe, I knit like this much of my Kalara, and then I ripped it out, and I tried to untangle it, and I don't know, I should have been more careful when I was frogging it, but anyway. So there's supposed to be 423 meters in here. I'd say there's maybe 421, 422, I don't know exactly, in 100 grams. So there is a little bit missing off here, but more than enough for a project left in there. Obviously there's not much taken off it. So what I've done is I've actually ordered an undyed skein of sock yarn from Yarnarama. They're based in South Australia, and it's going to be here tomorrow because it's just down the road a little bit. And I know when things are passed through that sorting facility that they'll be in my town the next day. So, which is good because then I can dye it up tomorrow. I'm thinking about, because I got some new Jacquard acid dyes from Craft Colour, and I'm thinking about dyeing up kind of a similar kind of teal colour, and combining that with this. It'll be nice kind of contrast, kind of like this was. But what I was thinking is, if any of you in Australia would be interested in this yarn, and you have, maybe you dye your own yarn, or you have some hand dyed yarn, because obviously this is hand dyed, you have some hand dyed yarn that doesn't have sparkle in it, that, you know, maybe you are not quite sure what to do with, or as I said, you dye yarn yourself, I'm happy to do a yarn swap for this cake. So yeah, if you want to, you know, swap, I'd be happy to do that. Only within Australia though, because I really don't trust international shipping, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, if anyone is interested, let me know and we can do a swapsy. Or you can just buy it off me, I don't really care. Either way, if you don't have something to swap, either or, let me know. And I'd probably say like 25 for it. It won't cost much to post, it's only very light, so I would just say 25. It did cost me 30, but given that there's a little bit taken off, just price it. Either way, whatever you guys want to do. Because I would rather it go to a home where it's going to get used than kind of sit in my stash and not get used. And she has some beautiful, beautiful yarns at Bendigo. Next year I'm going to be saving up big time. So yes, the Clara, if you're unfamiliar, looks like that. It's kind of similar to the Anissa wrap in that it does have this kind of line running down it, except for it goes kind of across the top of the shawl. And I was kind of a bit bummed because Amber, you can go on her mailing list to be informed when she has test knits, and she had this beautiful shawl that she did a call for test knitters, but it was only like a month and a half to get it done, and I just really didn't think that I would be able to commit to getting it done that quickly, because if you're new to my podcast, this shawl took me 2 months to knit. So I was like, no. But she does test knits quite frequently, so yeah. But when that gets here, I will dye it up and I will be able to recast on my Clara. The other item that I have cast on, and this is in 2 different bags. One is in this really cool bag. Now, I got this from Kmart and I love it. It says Believe in Unicorns. It's just like a eco shopping bag, but I loved it. So I have the other 2 yarns in here that I'm using for this project, and this little bag that I made myself. I actually took this to class with me yesterday. I was kind of thinking that I might get some done, but it didn't happen. So I don't have the front of the Anissa wrap, but I will try and put a photo here somewhere so you can see what it looks like. I actually made a trip to the Bendigo Wool Mills the other day, and you know, I had a comment from Claire saying, "Are you feeling okay?" Because I only come out of there with 3 balls of yarn. I'll have to grab the other one in a minute. One of them being this beautiful grey. This is not the entire cake. For those of you who are unaware, I will show you. When you actually buy, usually, sometimes they actually come in bags, which you can kind of see some of them up there, but typically they will come in a ball like this. This one I actually found in the back room. The other 2 I actually paid full price for. I'm not sure what this is going to be yet, but I couldn't resist the colour, and it's the same type of yarn. This is the Luxury 4-ply in the colour Sangria. So I'm thinking that would make some really nice fingerless gloves. And I have a pattern. I have so many patterns from Amber O'Brien. I really like her patterns. They're so well written, they're easy to understand. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this for that. And this was only $8. I think normally this is like $16.50. And there's 200 grams in here, which you don't always get the full ball from the back room. One of the other colours that I'm using, and it's the same grey in the Luxury 4-ply in slate that I used in mine. It's the grey that I used in the stripe section. That was the one that I used for mine was 118 grams, and the one that I have for this project, which is for my auntie, was 148 grams in that, and I haven't even done the full amount. So that one, that was only $8. Love that colour. So this one I believe is in stone. No, it's in shadow. So this is shadow. And the other ones, I have them in here. I don't want to take them out because it's just your basic black. And there's the slate in there. So I'm hoping that I can get that done faster than what mine took. She's not too fussed about, you know, when I get it done, but so yeah, I haven't done a lot. As you can see, I've done a few rows. I'm using my needle holder from Knit Designs on Etsy. So yeah, I've done a little bit. It's only the first repeat, so once you kind of get the first eyelet section done, it's not too bad. The only reason it took me so long to do mine was because I had to rip out a couple of sections, which sucks, but you know, it happens sometimes. And I printed out a new pattern because if you had seen the page after I'd finished with it doing mine, I had my own scribbles all over it. So yes, it's living in those two bags. Another project that I am working on, and this is living in my Creative Garage bag. This is made by Vanessa Kind, who has the My Creative Garage podcast. She's put up a new episode this week. This is her single garage size. She also has a bigger size, which is the double garage. And you can buy them via Instagram. This is just a charity hat. I'm not a big fan of this sock yarn. This is actually from the Bendigo Wool Mills. They have their own line of sock yarn, and it's not the softest sock yarn I've ever felt in my life. So yeah, I just wanted to use it up and decided to make a hat with it. So as you can see, my little white rabbit progress keeper is where I was last time. I haven't really, I mean, it looks like I've done a fair bit, but I haven't actually picked this up for about a week or so, because I wanted to cast on my other Anissa wrap, because I went and got the yarn for it. So I just kind of picked this up when I don't really know what to work on. I do, however, this week need to pick up the blanket, the crocheted blanket again, and I'll hopefully have a bit more progress on that next time. I'm hoping to have it finished by the end of the month. If I just solidly work on that, it should happen, but my last work in progress is living in my Knit and Stitch Bits Little Red Riding Hood bag. I have knit one other pattern from Tin Can Knits, and I'd had this Madeline Tosh DK yarn in my stash for a while. I actually got it in D-stash, and I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to do with it. And I was like, I want to do a hat that I haven't done before. It's not too complicated, but will look pretty and, you know, is different to something that I've already done. So I am using my size 8 or 5mm 16-inch Tagoos. I get mine from Facbook. I think these ones actually came from the UK until I found Chantel's store, Facbook. That's where I get all my Tagoos from. If you live in Australia, definitely check out her shop. Her prices are really reasonable and her shipping is really, really quick. So I'm almost finished the brim. Not really too exciting at the moment, but I actually I'll have a decent amount of this left over, so I'm not quite sure what I will do with the rest, but yeah, I started a barley hat. Yes, it's the barley hat. I had to think about that for a second. Then I have been doing some yarn dyeing. You've probably seen most of these if you follow me on Instagram. I still have one ball of the alpaca yarn. This is the 8-ply Savannah, which is 30% alpaca, 70% wool. It dyed up pretty well, actually. I probably could have added a bit more dye to the dye pot, but as you can see, this came from the back room at the Bendigo Woolen Mills. There is 128 grams in this ball, and it was only $4.50. I haven't actually knit with alpaca yet. This is the big one that I did. I think this was like 150 grams or close to it. This was supposed to be pumpkin orange, but it looks more like Big Bird to me. So I haven't decided what I'm going to make with that yet, but I may even re-dye it and add some more of the dye and see if it takes up more dye. These two are 8-ply skeins that I re-dyed. This one it was a pinky colour, and I just dumped a bunch of teal in there because I really wasn't happy with the pink that it was. It didn't take up the dye as well as I'd hoped. And this one was originally a light purple, and then I dumped a bunch of blue, and I think I dumped a bunch of pink in there as well. I can't remember, but it's that one. All of those ones except this one, I actually did on the stove in a big like stock pot, which is sitting on the floor over there. This one I actually did in the crock pot, slow cooker, whatever you want to call it, and I'm really happy. This is a sock yarn from the Bendigo Woolen Mills. I like the sock yarn from the Bendigo Woolen Mills as far as dyeing it up goes. I haven't actually knit with it yet or crocheted with it yet, but there's not as much yardage in these. There's only like 333 yards or something. We have another purple one. It's another 8-ply. This is one of my favourites. It's another 8-ply, and it came out really tonal. I'm really happy. I think this would make a nice hat. These next two are ones that I've re-dyed. So this one, basically from here down, was the colours that you see, and all this teal up here was actually white, and I re-dyed it. So I think this would make kind of cool socks if I can eventually get around to learning how to knit socks. That's that one. That's again sock yarn from the Bendigo Woolen Mills. This one kind of reminds me of like Alice in Wonderland, Cheshire Cat. I just dumped a bunch of teal dye in here and kind of let it do its thing, because originally it was just the pink, and where the teal is was just white. So really happy with how that came out. And these last two were kind of total flukes. I was just trying out something. These were the first ones that I did on the stovetop, and they just remind me of highlighters. Like I want to do a whole series of highlighters, like with a pink and a blue. So I think these would be, again, fun socks, or even like sock head hats. I think that would be kind of cool, maybe with like a contrasting colour. So those are my dyeing efforts recently. As I said, I did pick up some new colours. I got obviously the pumpkin orange. I got a silver, a pink, what was the other colour? And teal. Teal was the other colour. So pumpkin orange, silver, teal, and the pink. So yeah, this is like the last undyed skein that I have, except for obviously the one that's coming for my Kalara shawl. And I've had yarn from Yarnarama before, and I really like their undyed yarn. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I would like to have more progress on my crocheted blanket next time I record. And maybe be onto the stripe section of my Inessa wrap. See? Who knows? So yeah, let me know if you're interested in this Ixchel bunny yarn. Happy to do a swap. Now, talking about, before I go, the giveaway. So, that's the wrong bag. I also picked up another one of these because I think these make fantastic project bags. So I picked up one of these for you guys as well. And I will show you what I have included in here. Now you will need to be a member of the Ravelry group to be entered into the giveaway, and I'm also going to post a prompt in the Ravelry group, and I want you guys to tell me what was your first ever knitted project. For me, as some of you may already know, it was my first ever sockhead hat. I was a little bit nervous about knitting this because this is hand-dyed yarn and I didn't want to mess it up. I didn't do that great with the decreases, but it was my first hat. So that was my first project. Feel free to share yours in the thread, and I will leave the thread open until I podcast next, which will be, let's have a look. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 7th, so maybe I should just record on Wednesdays from now on. That might be an idea. Maybe I will do that. I might change it to a Wednesday. That might be an idea. So I will close the thread on the morning of the 21st of September, and I will draw the winner before I come on to podcast. So feel free to post a picture if you want to, or if you have a project page on Ravelry, let me know, because I would love to see what your first ever knitted or crocheted, I'm not trying to exclude anybody, you can do knitted or crocheted projects, whatever your chosen yarn craft is. Let me know all about it in the thread. So you will also get, along with the bag, we can all use one of these. It is a cute little tape measure. I actually got this at a craft store, one of my local craft stores. I took the little, it does have like this little, I don't know why, I like that when I bought it, that little threads coming in there, but it actually clips into this little bit here, so you know, you can kind of, and I don't know, it just has like a vintage look to it. It's in inches and centimeters, and it just has a really cute floral design on it, so that is one of the prizes. Then I picked up this yarn at the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show, and anytime something says one of a kind or limited edition, you've got me sold. So I picked up this, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it, but I've decided, since it is a one of a kind colourway, that I would include it in a giveaway for you guys. So I did pick it up from Fabric. It is an 80% wool, 20% nylon. There's 375 meters in 100 grams. It's, as I said, a one of a kind colourway, and this is called Accident in the Candy Cane Factory. So I thought that was kind of appropriate, and given that Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka fame, passed away recently, I thought that was kind of fitting. So, and that's one of my favourite movies, so I will be including this. it doesn't matter whether you're a knitter or crocheter, you could easily double it up if you want to crochet with it. So and it's just a really pretty yarn. It has a white base with pink. There's kind of pooling of pink, but then there's also speckles of pink. There's a bit of purple in there and a bit of teal. So I just think it's really, really pretty. So that is going to be the giveaway. As I said, post your response to the prompt question in the Ravelry group. I'd also like to do a knit along, crochet along sometime soon. If anyone has any ideas for that, please post them in the thread where the show notes are for this episode, or even send me a message on Ravelry. So I think it would be kind of fun to do a knit along. I've been tempted to join in with some knit alongs before, but I've never actually done it. So I thought, let's just host my own, why not? So yeah, if anyone has any ideas for a knit along, whether it's, you know, a new pattern that's come out, or, you know, maybe it's just, you know, a basic hat pattern or something like that, I'm totally open to ideas. So let me know if you have any ideas, suggestions for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye. What am I trying to do? No. I was going to try and turn the video off with my car keys. What?